Alice of KHR Arts and Cloud Orchid Publishing, and today we are going to talk about Dr. Ardain Isma's book, Last Spring Was Bittersweet. So this book is the sequel to Bittersweet Memories of Last Spring. So this book details the journey of a Haitian immigrant named Yrvin, also known as Vinco. And we left off with the cliffhanger in the previous book where he has impregnated his girlfriend Michaela and asked her to marry him. Unfortunately, her family doesn't believe that this is the right course of action, and they're acting out of guilt and shame, and so they send her away to live with some relatives in Strasbourg, which is the border of France and Germany. And so we are left with Yrvin, who is grieving the loss of his girlfriend Michaela, as well as his newly born son, Yrvin Junior. And this is such a huge blow to him that he becomes listless. He just feels so demoralized and demotivated. And then on top of everything, he loses his job. And on top of it, his sister also loses her job. So they lose both their incomes and they have to scramble to try and make ends meet. And it's awful, y'all. And Yrvin eventually does get a job because at this point they kind of have to take anything. So he does take anything, but it turns out that this anything job is anything but anything, and it affords him some really great contacts in the computer engineering world where he does actually then get his dream job. All because his boss at his anything job believes in him and helps him get the position, which is just such a magical and wonderful moment. And the story unfolds with Yrvin just working very hard, trying to find out what happened to Michaela so that then he can, at the very least, be in his son's life. That is his main motivation here. And he is still very bitter about what happened between him and Michaela, as well as very bitter about how Michaela's family treated both him and Michaela. So there's a lot of big feels going on. There's a lot of struggles. There are some amazing triumphs along the way. We also get to see Judy again, which is a really awesome moment in the story. This story is so jam-packed, y'all. It is a wonderful book. And I know I'm a wee bit biased in recommending it because I am Dr. Ardain Isma's editor. I personally helped edit both of the books in the series, and I am very proud to say that I am behind the projects for these books because he is such an incredibly talented writer, and these are such incredibly important stories. Even if at the very least you read them just for entertainment purposes, it is a wonderful, fantastic story, but also they're educational. These afford a window into the immigrant experience, what it's like to have to fight tooth and nail to be able to scrape out your own living here in America, which we are all taught is the land of opportunity, and that if you work hard enough, your dreams can come true. And unfortunately, in today's world, that's just not so anymore. And so to be able to read about someone overcoming adversity and being able to scrape out a little square for themselves in this country is nothing short of uplifting. So for those reasons, I very much recommend both of these books. I just love that both of them offer very different experiences as these take place in different points of Yrvin's life. Bittersweet Memories of Last Spring being about him coming of age, that he comes to the States as a teenager and has to find his way in the States and be able to learn the language and get an education, and his life is truly just beginning. Whereas Last Spring Was Bittersweet, Yrvin is an adult, he has a child, he has a woman who he very much would love to be his wife, and it is all about him taking everything that he's already been through and using that to be able to keep pushing forward and hopefully meeting the goals that he has, because as we find out in this book, it's not so easy trying to accomplish your dreams here in the States. Even back in the 80s, when life was a lot easier back then than it is now, for the whole idea of if you work hard enough, good things will come your way. Yrvin works very hard, and he is treated with dismissiveness and racism every step of the way. And it's painful, but it's real, and it is sad. And it is such a necessary lesson that we have to watch unfold, is that even to this day, there are still so many employers that fall into this trap of not giving qualified candidates a chance simply because of biases that they already have, whether they realize it or not. And so when he succeeds, it is all the sweeter. Ardain Isma is an accomplished writer, and he has other works that he has written, including Midnight at Noon. I do in the future plan on reading his other works, and I cannot wait to see what other works he comes out with next, as these two books were such a joy to work on, but also such a joy to read as well. And I am just so proud to have been on this project, and I am so proud of all that Dr. Ardain has accomplished. As I said in my previous video reviewing Bittersweet Memories of Last Spring, this is a multilingual book in that there is French, Creole, and Spanish throughout the book, and it does definitely add that flavor of authenticity to the story, and that we are dealing with Haitians and Dominicans and Bahamans and just people of all different walks of life, and with a specific focus on islanders. And I just think that this is a really unique perspective and an important perspective, because no matter where immigrants come from today, their stories all do have the common thread of that they are here to scratch out a life for themselves and to try to make a better future, not just for themselves, but also for their families. And that's exactly what Yrvin does, is even with him working hard to try to find Michaela and try to find his son, he never forgets about his family. He is constantly there for his big sister, Nana. He gives her all the support that he can, especially in her quest for trying to find a husband, as she put off a lot of her personal goals so that she could help Yrvin to succeed. And now that he's an adult and he has gotten as far as he has, he wants to return the favor and to help her to start realizing her personal goals. And there is some selflessness that he does put on the table that helps her to achieve that. And it's such a sweet, wonderful, proud moment. He also continues to work hard to bring his mother and his siblings and his father to the United States, as his mother and his other siblings are still living in Haiti, and his father is living in the Bahamas specifically because there's work there. And he does explain in the story why his parents don't live together. It's not because of any sort of marital problems or any lack of love between them. It's strictly due to cultural and political reasons, and at the very least wanting to keep his family safe while he does work in order to support them. So seeing that not only is he working toward his own personal goals, but also making sure that he reaches back to help lift his family up too, is so admirable, and a story that we see so frequently, not just with immigrants, but honestly with so many people here in the States. I mean, that's a big part of American culture, is doing right by you and right by your family, right by the people that you care about. And so it's definitely a story that on so many different levels people can relate to. And I do like that it does continue the thread of talking about the political events that are unfolding in Haiti, that we continue to see that unfold, that Yrvin does continue to have an active part in that community, though not as active as he was in the previous book, because now he's focusing so much more of his time and energy on his job and trying to find Michaela. But it is still there. He does still participate. He does still care about his homeland. And so seeing that perspective, that historical political perspective, is interesting as well. And I learned a lot about that reading both of these books, and I highly recommend that as well because it affords us a window into the world through fictional, relatable characters. And that's a big part of what I love about historical fiction books, is that it gives you this peek into a different world and being able to see how other people live. And Dr. Ardain Isma definitely covers that in this book, and we do get a very intimate idea of what it is to be Haitian, especially as a Haitian American, having to straddle those two worlds of the land that they came from and the land that they're living in and fighting to live in now, and all of the complications and prejudices that come with that. And so I highly recommend this book. I highly recommend reading both of the books. They are just absolutely fantastic, beautifully written, and I just can't wait to see what he comes out with next. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give it a like, and if you're new, subscribe. All right, y'all, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.